How's it going, boys and girls? My name is Michael SK and welcome back to the Eden of Grisaia. So in the last episode, things definitely got rolling. The operation is absolutely underway at this point, and it looks like the girls have already needed to shift plans from plan A to plan B because Heath Oslo's men have already jumped into the fray and have gotten their hands on Yuuji. So everyone is pretty much moving around and getting in position to act on how things have changed. So let us read on. Machina is repositioning herself, I believe, so she would have a better angle for the alterations that they're having to make for Plan B. Frustrated by the excessive weight of her hotel room's luxurious table, Machina ended up forcefully kicking it into its new position. She'd painstakingly set it up at the perfect angle using a tape measure at a spirit level, but now all that work was meaningless. Hopefully her high-quality tools would pull her through, with a little help from Shimohaihai-shan. Hopping up onto the sloppily repositioned table, Machina peered through her scope at the group of vehicles heading for the Sanoshida intersection. That's not Shimohaihai, it's Shimoheihei. Got it! I love English.
1分後には狙撃対象車両が山王下の交差点を通過するわ。阻止して。わかった。じゃあその前にまず試射するのよ。いい？そんなことをしている余裕があるの？
Well, she kinda has to.
ぶっつけ本番よりはマシ。着弾点から誤差を修正しないと当たるもんも当たんねえのよ。任せるわ。下平平ちゃん、撃つよ。Okay, fight.
Oh, that was in English. She had 6 rounds to work with, and the plan had always been to use the first bullet for a test shot, so that she could get a feel for the nature of her tools and the distance of her target. Fortunately, Machina had considered the possibility she'd miss the convoy at the planned point of attack. While biking around earlier, she'd left a zeroing target on Sanoshida, which seemed like a reasonable fallback site. The target in question was a stuffed tuna fish man toy. Machina had won it for herself at a Mishima Cape Summer Festival some time ago. It meant a great deal to her. Why, one might ask, had she chosen to use something she cared about for this purpose? Simple enough. She was trying to motivate herself to succeed with her first shot. The last thing she wanted was to lose her tuna fish man. It was a sentimental keepsake that reminded her of a happy day she'd spent with Kazumi Yuuji. So does that mean that the festival back in the Fruit of Grisaia fell in place of Machina's route? If we had all of the routes together, somehow, that would mean that Yuuji spent that day with Machina and no one else. What's more, winning it had helped her awaken to her own talents. It was far more than just a stuffed animal. Had she never laid eyes on that toy, she wouldn't have been lying on this table with her hands wrapped around this rifle. Thank you, Tuna Fish Man. Faced with the knowledge that she had to destroy something dear to her heart, Machina permitted herself to wallow in pathos for a brief moment. After inhaling and exhaling 8 times, Machina stopped breathing entirely. Her reticule settled on the prone figure of Tuna Fish Man, and silent as snow falling in the night, she pulled the trigger. Boom.
戦闘の車両が1号車どうしたなぜ減速するトラビスさんあれ見てください車道の中央分離帯のところに何か不審物がありますあれを警戒しているようですなんだあれは人形か
God damn it
回避しますかどうせ子供のおもちゃが引っ越しの荷物からでも落ちたんだろう気にしすぎだ構わん無視していいと1号車に結んでうわ爆発したいや狙撃だ対戦車ライフル止まるなこのまま走り抜けろ
She'd been ready to abandon the mission and withdraw if the shot had gone so far off target, that she couldn't observe the point of impact. But the performance of the rifle had exceeded her expectations. Instantly registering the precise location where the bullet had struck Tuna Fish Man, Shimohei-chan automatically began the post-zeroing adjustment process. In the meantime, Machina pulled back on the bolt handle to force out the empty cartridge and promptly loaded her next round, which she'd already unsealed and left sitting next to her on the table.
でも想像してたよりは軽い反動だけどやっぱ痛いのよさ
The muzzle brake had vented a significant amount of highly compressed propellant gases sideways as the bullet left the barrel, but the stock still dug painfully into her shoulder. Even with the kickback dramatically reduced, she wouldn't be able to fire many shots in quick succession before the pain and numbness began to affect her aim. In other words, she needed to finish her task quickly. Her primary targets were the convoy's 3 Humvees. Kazumi Yuuji was in the middle vehicle. Sorry, tripping over my tongue. First of all, she needed to take out the lead vehicle's engine and bring it to a halt.
聞こえるか私の砲声がこれが家族を奪われた女の悲鳴なのよさ返せその男は私だ
Ooh. As Machina closed her weak eye to protect it from the orange flash of the muzzle brake, another bullet burst out of the barrel. The penetrator rounds she'd been issued were designed to punch through thick armor with remarkable speed, but it still took 6 to 7 seconds for them to reach their target at this distance. Sorry guys, I'm not smart and I'm misreading things. By the time it reached the end of its steady parabola, the bullet was capable of easily ripping through almost any armor, even the thick plating of a bulletproof military vehicle. Oh shit, baby! Finding its target at last, the penetrator easily pierced the hood of the leading Humvee and instantly destroyed the engine cylinder block. Coolant sprayed from the pulverized water jacket, evaporating into thick white smoke as it came into contact with the intense heat generated by the other machinery. The bullet had ricocheted violently inside the motor itself, ripping its way through the crankshaft and bringing the engine to a complete halt.
1号車停止エンジンを撃ち抜かれましたくそ前の車を避けろ止まるな
Oh shit, baby. That's so damn cool. An instant after those words left Travis's mouth, another bullet hit the hood of his own Humvee, the second vehicle in the convoy. With its source of power abruptly cut off, the Humvee was forced to decelerate by its own wet clutch system. As the drive shaft let out an ugly rattling sound, all 4 wheels locked up, bringing them to a jarring halt. The white smoke pouring out of the destroyed engine made it all but impossible to see what was happening in front of them.
被弾エンジン沈黙車から出るな3号車を先に行かせろすぐにバックアップの要請をですがこのままでは狙い撃ちに
Uh-oh. The harsh sound of metal striking metal echoed loudly throughout the interior of the Humvee as another bullet ripped through its fuel tank.
燃料タンクを撃ち抜かれました燃料流出危険ですくそ焼け死なれてもかなわん車から風見雄二を下ろして3号車に移せ3号車も避難停車していますとにかく下ろせ
指揮艇から各実動へ達する強襲車両の沈黙と中間車両から引きずり出されるマルタイの姿を確認なおマルタイは捕獲されている模様強襲犯は劉尉のこと強襲犯クソメイド武力介入を開始
Oh, here we go, boys!
ちくしょう足まで縛りやがるもんだから立って歩かせることもできやしねえおい誰か手を貸せトラビスさん伏せてください狙い撃ちされますバカ野郎そんなことより応援は呼んだのかグレネード
As the men reflexively dropped to the ground and covered their heads, the can-shaped object in question burst apart. Copious amounts of white smoke poured out from within it. A second, third, and fourth can followed in steady succession, quickly covering the entire area in an impenetrably dense fog. In the midst of this dense smoke cloud, where visibility was non-existent, Komine Sachi stood with her eyes closed, calmly breathing in and out as she carried out her mental countdown. 7 seconds. 7 seconds after the smokescreen was deployed, the resulting confusion and panic would reach their peak. Under circumstances like these, properly trained personnel who knew an attack was coming would take about 7 seconds to decide whether it was wisest to stand their ground or to retreat and regroup. Charge in before that, and you'd find them dangerously alert and quick to react. Charge in after that, and you'd find them comparatively calm and prepared for your assault. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
小峰幸武力介入を開始します。
Oh shit, baby. Lifting up the skirt of her maid outfit, Komine Sachi curtsied politely, and then took her first step into the smoke-clogged intersection. Oh. Wow. What the hell's going on? Hadn't everything worked out before with the Japanese government in advance? This sudden sneak attack was the last thing Travis had been expecting. On the assumption this would be a simple job, he'd thrown together a crew of poorly trained thugs and set off without making any real preparations. But now as his men shrieked in panic and fired their assault rifles blindly into the smoke, Travis found himself remembering something Oslo had once told him. A single incompetent soldier can bring down a whole army. Eventually, a stray bullet fired by one cowardly fool happened to hit an ally, and the other men, mistaking this for an enemy attack, began to fire or return fire. Wow, this is just... everything's just going wrong for this guy. His throat burning and eyes stinging, Travis peered out into the smoke and shuddered as he glimpsed something moving through it. Is that an enemy? Or is that the enemy? The shadowy figure slipped its way around them in an instant, like a shark cruising beneath the surface of a gloomy gray sea, and quietly disappeared back into the thick clouds of smoke, leaving only terror in its wake. I mean, that's just the basic rule of alchemy. The voice came from a different direction every time Travis heard it. Almost like a shark slowly circling around its target, it was drawing closer and closer, cutting off his potential routes of escape. Whoa, 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 whoa. Calm down. You can't start firing off warning shots in this smoke. Wait until you get a good look at the enemy. He could feel sweat oozing out of his hands as he clenched his rifle tightly. Concerned that the moisture might cause a fatal slip, he removed one hand to wipe it against the front of his pants, and in that very moment, his foe suddenly appeared. Oh shit, dude! Flustered, Travis tried to grab his rifle once more, but his mind was too occupied with trying to process the sight before him. Is that a maid? A maid with a gas mask on her face and 2 kitchen knives in her hands was rushing through the smoke straight at him. There was simply no other way to describe what he was seeing. Momentarily dumbfounded by the appearance of this exceptionally bizarre enemy, Travis was slow to react to her charge. Finally pulling himself together, he grasped his weapon firmly and tried to point it at the maid. But in that same instant, her knife cut violently through the rifle's plastic lower receiver and into the mag well. With the weight of her body pressing on the weapon from above, it was impossible to lift the barrel. Why couldn't he overpower this small, slender woman? Oh shit, dude. She's predicting what he's thinking, and it could be right.
最初にこれを決められた時は混乱したものです。
Somehow this maid had stopped him dead using only the knife in her right hand. It might have been wisest to cast the rifle aside, but his hands wouldn't loosen their grip on the stock and barrel. The more he tried to let go, the harder he clutched his weapon. The maid hadn't cast a magic spell on him, of course. It was nothing more than a martial arts technique. She was leveraging the weight of their bodies against him, controlling the fulcrum so that his desperate attempts to stay on his feet only increased the force bearing down on him. Travis had experienced this sort of thing all too often while training with his older brother. What had Jason taught him to do in situations like this? Or like these? And the only thing Travis could remember at that moment was his brother forcefully bellowing the word balance at him. Also had always admired how taciturn Jason was, but in retrospect, Travis seriously wished the man had been a bit more elegant. Travis had never beaten his brother in a hand-to-hand fight. When it came to verbal conflicts, however, he always came out on top. In that case, why not try using his tongue to get him out of this mess?
名前を聞かせてもらおうか。
サチです。
シャチ？
シャチではありません。サチです。そしてサメです。
意味がわからん。
シャチとは違う。サメは獲物で遊びません。
Uh-oh. The silhouette of the combat maid who'd introduced herself as Sachi swayed slightly. Out of the corner of his eye, Travis saw the knife in her left hand moving toward his vulnerable carotid artery. Maybe I said that wrong. She's gonna kill me! The moment this thought ran through his head, the arm bearing that knife twisted smoothly around and slammed into his throat, elbow first. Ah, damn. His neck had already tensed up in fear of the blade. Her elbow dug deeply into it and jarred his chin forcefully. As the impact shook his brain, Travis's legs gave out beneath him and crumbled into the ground, or to the ground. With his face slammed into the asphalt, he finally realized she knocked him off his feet. At the moment, that was just about the only thing his brain was capable of processing. This was bad. Very bad. He understood that much on a deep, primitive level, but he still couldn't even manage to stand. His field of vision grew smaller and smaller until he was peering out at the world through a pinhole. And as the adrenaline began to bleed slowly out of his brain, Travis surrendered himself to unconsciousness. So much for talking his way out of that. Who the hell are you? And what's with the maid outfit? Hope Sachi hasn't started a trend or something. Her outfit was familiar, her voice was familiar, and when she removed her mask, the familiar voice of a classmate emerged before my eyes. Hold on. Is that actually you? Am I seeing things? Why would you be here? That a fact? Sounds good. I was just thinking I could do with a rescue right about now. Uh-oh, driver is still alive. Or awake. Sachi, behind you! What, is she just gonna deflect all the bullets? Instantly spreading out the skirt of her maid outfit, Sachi leaned forward to throw it over me protectively. When an obstacle lies in your master's path, become the sword that removes it. When a blade is turned on your master, become the shield that deflects it. Those are the fundamentals of the maid philosophy as routinely espoused by Komune Sachi. And in this moment, the sincerity of her words had finally been proven. The harsh sound of an assault rifle firing filled the air, accompanied by the tinkle of empty cartridges against the pavement. The dull impacts I felt through Sachi's body were proof she'd shielded me against the gunfire. Sachi! Still wrapped in Sachi's embrace, I felt my hand brush against something cold and metallic inside her skirt. Reflexively, I pulled it free. The clumsily and clumsily raised my numb arm. I hurled it in the direction of the gunfire. What the fuck? I didn't even know exactly what I had thrown. Even so, my blind throw somehow found its mark, piercing the throat of our assailant. As the sound of the gunfire ceased, I hurriedly pushed myself up. Sachi rolled off of me and fell to the ground. Sachi, can you hear me? At a glance, I saw countless holes in the back of her maid uniform. Oslo's men were only using 5.56mm NATO rounds, but she'd been hit far too many times. The sight filled my drug-clouded mind with a red-hot mixture of rage and terror. Sachi! Sachi, are you alright?
防弾って言っても弾を通さないってだけですごく痛いんですね。棒でつつき回されたみたいな痛さです。
Alright, seems like she's okay. Are you crazy, woman? This isn't why I taught you how to use a knife? Explain yourself. Who ordered you to do this?
私は私の意思で行動しています。そもそもどうして私がこんな真似をする羽目になったとお考えですか？
If you've got an excuse, let's hear it.
全部あなたのせいです。
Wait,
あ
what?
なたにとって私は何ですか、風見さん。
And an entertaining classmate? Well, at least he's
でし
honest.
ょうね。でも私にとってあなたは唯一無二の主人です。極端な話をすれば、私はあなたがいなければ呼吸をする許可すら誰に求めていいのか分かりません。
Man, this canon harem route is getting weird. That's just ridiculous.
責任を他人に押し付けるという生き方を恐れずに言葉にするのであれば、私をそういう女にしたのはあなたです。そんなあなたが間抜けにも敵の手に落ちたとあれば、落ちうる技能の全てを駆使して救出に当たるのが道理というものではありませんか？
True enough. So at the end of the day, I'm to blame for this?
その通りです。反省しやがれですよ、この野郎。
Huh. Sorry, Sachi. Guess I've made life hard for you.
私は間違っていませんね。
No.
とてもとてもいい子ですね。
Yeah.
ではそのお手にて私の頭頂部を愛撫していただくことを熱望いたします。
Oh my god, at this time? Is this really the time for that?
好かれているとか嫌われているだとか、互いに惹かれ合って合意に至るとか、そんなことはどうでもいいんです。私はあなたのものです。あなたのメイドです。それだけで十分ですし、それ以上は面倒なだけです。
What exactly are you getting at here?
私から言いたいのは、いらんのならちゃんと捨てろということです。あなたが私を捨てない限り、私はずっとあなたのそばにいます。それはまるで自分が捨てられたことも理解できずに、どんなに遠くに置き去りにしても帰ってきてしまう犬のように、何度でも。
Sachi, are you crying?
いいえ、今はあまり時間がありません。まずはこの場から速やかに撤収しましょう。泣くのはその後にします。
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this really isn't the time for a conversation either. Even as she spoke, Sachi was retrieving an enormous pair of wire cutters from inside the skirt of her uniform. She promptly began to sever the stainless steel bands that had fixed me in place.
足の拘束は切断しました。次は手を出してください。
Hold on a second. You can cut the restraints, but don't touch the bracelet. It's a bomb.
爆弾。
Her ears pricking up at the ominous word, Sachi leaned forward to study the metal band around my right wrist.
外そうにも、これはちょっとすぐには外せそうにありませんね。
Ugh.
風見さん、どこかお怪我を？
They drugged the hell out of me, so my mind's a little foggy. It takes some effort just to stay awake.
とにかくまずはこの場から脱出しましょう。
How are we gonna do that?
逃走用の車両が迎えに来てくれるはずなのですが、あいにくとまだ。まだ生きてるよ、マキちゃん。風見さんは無事回収。逃走車両の方はどうなってるの？ もうすぐ現場に到着するわ。移動できるようならどこかへ退避を。現場に向かって突進してくる車両を確認。あれってあまねえ。
Are we finally gonna see what this vehicle looks like?
車種は特定できる？ちらっとしか見えなかったからわかんない。なんか黒っぽい車。それは違うわ。おそらくは連絡を受けて急行してきた敵の増援車よ。もうアマネーとチルチルは何やってんのよさ。
Uh-oh.
いたぞ、こっちだ。
これはさすがにヤバいですね。風見さん、立てますか？
I'll deal with them somehow. For now, you need to get out of here, Sachi.
私の肩に捕まってください。担いで連れ出します。
Okay, look. Are you even listening to me?
さらに敵の増援を確認。今度はなんか白い車、すんげえスピードでそっちに向かっているのよ。どうしよう、止めようにももう弾がないのよ。車種は？わかんないってば。とにかく白い車、なんか小さいし、多分軽自動車。間に合った。それがスオさんの車よ。え、あれが
The White Devil is no myth. Oh my god. What the hell? At a glance, it might appear to be a perfectly commonplace mini truck of the sort you'll find all over Japan. But in truth, it's a thoroughbred sprinter designed to tear down the roughest farm roads at incomparable speeds. When a peaceful elderly farmer takes the wheel, it offers them a profoundly gentle and easy ride. And when a fiery youngster slams down on its gas pedal, it rushes confidently down the bumpiest of roads, pulling 2 meters ahead of the competition with every shift in gear. This unmatched drivability, founded in refined technology developed over long years of effort, made it an angel in the hands of some drivers, and a devil in the hands of others. This was the weapon that had been provided to Suo Amane, the Yanbar truck, crown jewel of the Nubaru Corporation. It's not a Subaru, it's a Nubaru. What the fuck, dude? Cast iron rotors glowing red as Amane jammed down on its sintered metal brake pads, the monstrous vehicle sliced through the smoke and appeared quite suddenly before them.
風見さんは立てません。手を貸してください。みちるん。
I think she needs a lot more help than anyone else
い
here.
つまでゲーゲーやってんのよ。急いで。わかってるわよ。私が上を支えます。みちる様は足の方を。いっせーので荷台に乗せるわよ。いい。はい。いせーの。せー。
Ah!
敵増援車両から武装集団の降車を確認。数6。中華機で武装してるのよ。早く逃げて。全員乗った。総員乗車完了。よっしゃ、全力で逃げるよ。振り落とされないようにしっかり捕まって。
Here we
前
go.
方道路は敵車両に封鎖されてます。分かってる。
With a light step on the accelerator, Amane quickly threw the car into reverse, roughly released the clutch, and began to drive backward as fast as she could.
あまね、下がってる。バックしてるってば。それも分かってる。仕方がないじゃん。前に敵がいるんだから。
逃げたぞ。おい、絶対に逃がすな。
追ってくるよ。どうすんの。向きを変えている余裕がないのよ。このまま逃げるしかない。
With the truck still in reverse, Amane pressed the gas pedal to the floor. While a CVT car could seamlessly adjust the gear ratio in this scenario, the Yanbar's reverse was even shorter than its low gears. No matter how hard the engine worked, they weren't going to break 60 kilometers an hour. And as she over-revved the engine well past the maker's maximum recommended RPM, the valve springs could no longer keep up, causing periodic surging.
バルブが跳ね始めた。長くは持たない。っていうかやばい。水温計の針がぐんぐん上がってくよ。バックだとラジエートに風が当たらないんだ。あまね、前
Uh-oh.
うわ、嘘、撃ってきた。みんな伏せて。
The Yanbar had been remodeled. There was bulletproof foam between the outer panels and the internal frame, and the windows were reinforced with polycarbonate. Still, they wouldn't last long if the enemy started hitting their tires.
さっちゃん、なんとかできない？車の向きを変える時間が欲しいんだけど。なんとかと言われましても。
In response to Amane's request, Sachi pushed her hands into the pockets of her skirt and began to rifle around inside
多少
them.
乱暴な手段になりますが、よろしいですか？
Hell yeah,
何
dude.
でもいいから早く。榊司令、殺傷火器の使用許可を。許可します。できれば殺さないで。了解です。
Oh well, if you insist, teehee. With a fearless smirk on her face that spoke louder than words, Sachi retrieved a number of handmade pipe bombs from within her skirt. The bombs marked with red tape were filled with ball bearings. Those with blue tape would disperse tear gas, and those with white tape contained thermite. However, given that she'd been told to avoid fatalities where possible, none of these were really an option, especially in an urban environment. Instead, Sachi picked out the pipes she'd marked with bright pink tape. These particular bombs were in fact non-lethal stun grenades. There was no telling how effective they'd be against their pursuers, but at the very least they would serve as something as a bluff. Taking a gas lighter from her pocket, she lit the fuses of several grenades, then waited until the very last moment to hurl them back at the lead pursuit vehicle.
爆発しますよ。見ないように目をかばってください。
Ooh. The instant her bombs hit the windshield of the pursuing Humvee, they blew apart. Temporarily blinded by a retina-scarring flash of light, the enemy driver reflexively slammed on his brake pedal.
周りを振り落とされないで。
Oh shit! Quickly turning the steering wheel, Amane used the handbrake to manipulate the Yanbar's weight, pivoting it 180 degrees around the rear outer tire. The light little truck swayed violently as it whipped through the turn. But before its weight could settle evenly, she stepped lightly on the accelerator, then threw it into second gear as soon as she picked up enough RPM. And finally, just as the truck was completing its turn, she kicked sharply down on the clutch, forcing the engine into the effective range of the supercharger, and earning herself a dramatic boost in power.
よっしゃー、逃げるわよ。悪いけど鬼ごっこなら負けないよ。スオさん、想定の逃走ルートを外れているわ。どこへ向かっているの？一旦青山通りに出た方がいい？状況が変わったわ。新しい逃走経路を検討します。銃撃戦に爆発。少し派手にやりすぎたわね。警察の介入が始まったわ。無線に欺瞞情報を流しておくわ。
You know, I'll admit, I completely forgot that the police were sort of a
逃
thing.
走ルートを新しくするのはいいんだけど、マキナとの合流はどうするの？サコスは反対方向だよ。イリスさんとの合流地点も変更します。イリスさんは現時刻をもって現場を撤収。2分以内に機材を回収して退去。自転車で大田区方面へ向かって。だったら私が公園に隠しておいたコンテナも回収しておいてもらえると助かります。そりゃ構わんけど、大田区って反対方向なのよ。状況によってはイリスさんは別ルートで逃走してもらいます。むしろその方が安全なのよ。理解して。要は追っ手を巻いてマキナと合流すればいいんでしょ。なんとかやってみる。港区の方に向かうから、マキナは先に荷物を回収して公園で待ってなさい。スオさん、何をする気なの？地図見ててピーンとひらめいたんだけど、榊さん、ランプブレイカーって知ってる？いいえ。ランプっていわゆるタクシーの屋根の上についているアンドンのことなんだけど、車高制限がギリギリでそこをタクシーが通るとアンドンをぶつけちゃうトンネルがあるの。芝浦方面に抜ける JR 線の高架下ね。そう、そこ。まあ簡単に言っちゃえば、ゲートらしか入れないような道に入ってしまえば大きな車は当然ついてこられないってわけ。なるほど。でもトンネルの出口は追っ手も知っているわ。別動隊に先回りされてしまう可能性も。大丈夫。他にも車幅 1.4 メートル以下の車しか通れない道とか、遮断機すらないような歩行者用の踏切を通過すればうまく巻けると思う。 場所は分かっているの？というか、どうしてそんな場所を知っているの？ああ、いや、まあ、屋根の上にランプがついている車はタクシーだけじゃないっていうか、そういう車に追いかけられたことが何度かあって、まあ、ええや、どうでも。
What the
と
hell?
にかく、スオーさんは事故を起こさない程度に全力で逃げて、イリスさんは大田区の公園でコンテナを回収、その場で待機。イリスさんと合流するまでに新しい逃走ルートを決めます。それまではなんとか逃げ切って。移動車両班ビッチ了解。狙撃班福田抜き了解。
Well, alright. What's going on here?
風
Oh.
にユージを奪われただと
Ho 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 ho.
冗談なんだろうアダム君。
Oh shit, dude. Alright, we will call it here. 66% done. We have retrieved Yuuji. However, there is obviously a twist that we found out about in the last episode where Yuuji now has this bomb on his arm. He will have to confront Heath Oslo. We know that now. So, there definitely is a lot more to go. So, make sure you guys stay tuned by subscribing. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Sorry for the sniffling again in this episode. It's not even morning. I didn't wake up just recently to record this. It's just while I was recording, my allergies got worse. I hope this is not a sign that I'm getting sick. But it is that season, I think. Regardless, those are my excuses for today. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.